I'm sure you're well aware that Norway is the country that has more electric vehicle sales per capita, as in per car sold, than any other country in the world. They just reached a new record, which is not a record, but it is a record. Bit confusing, but I want to explain to you what's happened. In Norway, though, one car company has completely and utterly shredded, and I mean just shredded, the competition in the month of November. In fact, the gap between first and second was so wide, you could fit probably 20 Tesla semis in that chasm. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Welcome back, everyone else. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for supporting the channel. Subscribing does support the channel. I really appreciate you all doing that. Fantastic to actually see what's going on here in a fully electric car market. Now in China, that's one of the most popular. Now in China, there was 750,000 electric vehicle sales in the month of November. But the Chinese water market still is around 70% gasoline powered. Whereas Norway just hit a record. It might not sound like a record, but actually it is. Plug-in electric vehicles took 89.3% of the market. The thing is, the same month last year, the percentage was actually 91.2. So you might be thinking, what, they went down? What's happening in Norway? Well, actually, not really. Now, full electrics grew their share year on year from 73.8% to 81.6%. In other words, 81.6% of all vehicles sold in Norway in the month of November were fully electric. Why is this happening? Why are the numbers down then for all vehicles? Well, the reason is because plug-in hybrid vehicles are losing share, losing momentum. Customers don't really want them. They prefer a fully electric car. Plug-in hybrids continued to fall, dropping to 7.7% from 17.4% in the same month last year. That's a massive fall. That means they've fallen more than 60% in 12 months. And it more than likely means within a few years, plug-in hybrids will cease to exist, as demand will be so low for those vehicles in Norway that I think most manufacturers will just stop selling them. Overall auto volumes, 19,513 units according to Clean Technica. They say that's an increase of 28% year on year. And it all comes down to one vehicle, not even one brand, really one vehicle, the Tesla Model Y, which I still believe will be the best-selling car in the world next year in 2023. For those of you in Australia who watch this channel, diesel has made only 2.2% of all vehicle sales in Norway. What do you think is going to happen at gasoline stations, at petrol stations that sell diesel when that happens for a couple of years? Only 2.2%. It's going to be lower next year. What, 1.5%? Maybe 1.5% of the market. How long do you think those stations will continue to sell diesel? That's a bit of a warning for you to consider. If you're going to go and buy a new diesel car in the next 2 years, consider the fact that this same thing will eventually happen here in Australia. You will have at some point the same issue that people who drive LPG cars here in Australia have, right? You got to look around. You got to really look around to find the LPG. You cannot charge your car with diesel at home. You don't have the ability to do that. You've got to rely on an oil company or oil companies to manufacture and refine the diesel for you. And what are they doing right now? Look at the price of diesel. What do you think is going to happen over the next few years? Price will simply continue to go up. So November's combined plug-in market share of 89.3% was 81.6% fully electric and 7.7% plug-in hybrid. This is what happens in a mature market. People move away from plug-in hybrids. I've been saying this for a long time. 12 months ago, the share was 73.8% fully electric and 17.3% plug-in hybrid. And the thing is, remember, plug-in hybrid incentives are ending in most European countries by the end of this year. That percentage is going to continue to fall. This means 16,000 fully electric cars were sold in Norway in November. That's the second highest on record. The highest ever was in March this year. Now, vehicles in Norway that use only gasoline or only diesel actually represented 3.4% of the market. 1.2% were gasoline or petrol, and 2.2% were diesel. That's minuscule. The days of gasoline and diesel-powered vehicles in Norway, they're pretty much finished. The writing's on the wall. It's basically over. But what were the top-selling vehicles? Number 1, Tesla Model Y, 3,209 sales. It more than tripled the next bestseller, which was the Volkswagen ID4 with 1,093 sales. Actually, sorry, I lied. It didn't more than triple. It was around about triple. Third place, surprisingly, was the BMW i4 with 907 sales. Fourth, the BMW iX with 898 sales. In fifth, the Volvo XC40 with 842. Then the Skoda Enyaq, Audi e-tron, Volvo C40, Volkswagen ID3, Polestar 2, Audi Q4 e-tron, Nissan Leaf, Mercedes EQC, Hyundai Ioniq 5, Toyota BZ4X with 342 sales, Volkswagen ID5, MG Marvel R, Toyota Pro Ace, the Ford Mach-E, and the Renault Megane. Now, you think that Tesla has a month where you say, oh, that's just a good month for Tesla because they shipped a lot of EVs. And well, actually, it's not the case anymore. Tesla's a lot more consistent in Norway now because of the fact that they manufacture EVs in Germany, not far away. And that's a very consistent manufacturing production line in Germany, which will ramp up by a factor of 5 from what I'm hearing over the next 3 months. If that's true, well, you're going to see a lot of this happening in Norway next year. Tesla will continue to dominate the market there. I believe there's a lot of support for Tesla in Norway. It's pretty clear from these sales, right? Triple. I haven't seen these kind of sales figures in any other country in the world for this year. There has not been one model that has outsold the second place model by a factor of 3 in any car market in any single month this year. And I've looked at all of them. If you can see one, email it to me because I'm pretty sure it hasn't existed. This means this is an incredible domination of Tesla in the market. The BMW i4 looks impressive. Actually, sales figures of 908 is a good number. That was its biggest month so far. That's more than 3 times its previous peak, which was back in May of this year. So I'm not sure what happened there with BMW. It looks like they're now on the Tesla cycle of sending a whole lot of vehicles in one month and not many in other months. If we look at the best-selling electric cars in Norway for the full year this year, the same story is pretty much playing out. The Tesla Model Y is in first place with 6,319 deliveries. Second place, less than half that number, is the Volkswagen ID4 with 2,991. Skoda Enyaq was in third with 2,030. And then the BMW iX was in fourth. Now let's find the next best Volkswagen Group vehicle. It was the Audi e-tron with 1,159. So if we add together the ID4 in second place, the Skoda Enyaq in third place, the Audi e-tron in 8th place, and the Volkswagen ID3 in 9th place, well, all those cars put together, pretty similar amount of sales to Tesla's single model, Model Y. That's domination. One thing in this list that really surprised me, I have to say, though, is the fact that Nissan managed to sell 917 Nissan Leafs in Norway, meaning they've sold about 90 per month. That's quite remarkable. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe they had a big discount on them. Who knows? Now, what I find really interesting is that the Volkswagen ID, the ID4 actually did have the first place in these listings here for the year-to-date tally, but Tesla took over, and obviously now it's more than doubled the ID4's deliveries in Norway. And that's really a sign, I believe, of what's to come. Volkswagen has just massively increased the price of the ID3, increased prices of the ID4. That's what happens when a manufacturer says, you know what, we don't want to make a loss on our EVs anymore. There's enough demand. We're going to increase our prices. And all of a sudden, Tesla vehicles don't look so expensive anymore. I mean, the ID3 in most variants is more expensive than a Tesla Model Y in Germany now. So you can see how manufacturing an EV at scale and making a lot of one model, therefore being able to save money, massively enables you to have a vehicle at a price where you can sell that vehicle and make a profit. That's what Tesla's been able to do. I think Volkswagen is many years away from achieving that. One of the key reasons as well is that now that Tesla have decent levels of vehicles made in Germany, making the Model Y, now that they're going to up their production by a factor of 5, from what I'm hearing, going from 1,000 a week to 5,000 a week, there's no chance that any manufacturer will be able to beat them, probably for any month of the year for the next 12 months. Realistically, probably the only car I think that might be able to beat them maybe would be a vehicle made by BYD. There's no other car manufacturer in the world that's going to be able to mass manufacture an affordable electric car that would be able to outsell the Model Y. It's just not realistic in Norway. Now, Clean Technica has suggested the MG4. MGs don't make anywhere near enough cars. Well, if they sent all of them to Norway, yeah, then they could outsell the Model Y. It's just not even remotely realistic to say the MG4 will beat the Model Y in Norway, just because simply they're not making enough of them. Now, one thing Tesla has, one advantage is their production capacity. If you order a Tesla Model Y right now, you only have to wait around about a month and a half to get delivery. But a lot of other vehicles, you've got to wait for a long time. Some of them, in fact, you've got to wait about 12 months. So clearly, that will be a big benefit to Tesla as well over the next 12 months. Now, two of the biggest winners here in the car market in Norway are actually Volvo. Volvo with the XC40 went from 32nd place up to 5th place. And Volvo with the C40 went from 51st to 6th place. Then you've got the Polestar 2. That's gone from 21st to 10th. So Volvo, Polestar, that group, Geely Group, I think they're going to really start ramping up their EVs. They're planning on doing a massive ramp up over the next couple of years. And I think they have the capability as a company to actually do it. I don't think it's all talk. I think it's real. However, here's an interesting fact that I think you should be aware of. In the United States, sales of the Hyundai Ioniq 5 have decreased for about nearly six successive months in a row. You'd think, well, maybe that's just the US market, but it's not. Hyundai Ioniq 5 sales have done the same thing in Norway. They've gone from 6th to 12th. Kona sales, 7th to 21st. Volkswagen ID5, 8th to 16th. Ford Mustang Mach-E, 9th to 19th. Tesla Model 3, 11th to 17th. BYD Tang, 12th to 32nd, and the Kia EV6, 13th to 25th. Now, there is a definite trend here. All those manufacturers, they're one model, but Hyundai Kia Group, pretty much their main bread and butter, the EV6 and the Ioniq 5, have significantly declined in sales in Norway. Why is that? I simply think it comes down to one thing: production levels. They're great cars. I think everyone knows that. They're really good cars. I was driving behind an Ioniq 5 today and I thought, damn, that's a really sexy, good-looking car. Good specs, good vehicle. Don't make enough. So they try to ship some to a new country, another country, and what it means is they have to take from elsewhere. Same thing's happening in the US, happening in Norway. Basically, they just don't have the production capacity to make enough of them. Over the past couple of years, gasoline-powered vehicles have decreased by around 7% globally per year. It's really not going to take as long as people think for electric cars to make up, 80+% of all vehicle sales worldwide. Now, remember, at one point in time, pretty much everyone used some form of an old phone like this, whether it was a BlackBerry or a Nokia. That was more than 90% of the market. How long did it take until we moved to this? Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.